Hey guys, it's Ashley here with FlexiFuse, coming at you from my home office. I'm going to show you today how to make a quilt tag from home using FlexiFuse, some white fabric, and an inkjet printer. When making a quilt tag at home, you can go as fancy or as simple as you like. You can use some design software if you're familiar with that, or you can use something like WordPerfect. You will type up whatever you want it to say. Mine says Handmade with Love by Ashley Greer and then the date or the year. And I used a design software to do that, but again, you can use any type of WordPerfect or Word software. You'll type it up, make sure that you have it to the size you want, and then you are going to make sure that your overall page is going to fit on a piece of FlexiFuse, which is 8 by 10.5. Once you have your sheet all formatted and your fabric prepped, which I'm going to show you how to do next, you're ready to print. Okay, so I have some white fabric just from my stash. I've ironed it really good, and I actually starched it a little just to make sure that it's super smooth. I have my pack of FlexiFuse, and I'm going to show you how to make a full sheet of quilt tags. You're going to fuse this down just like you would for applique, pressing and holding for 10 seconds, making sure your steam is turned off and your iron is turned up all the way. Okay, now that I've made sure it's fused really good, I'm going to take some scissors and I'm going to cut right along our sheet of FlexiFuse. Okay, so now I have my FlexiFuse on the back of my fabric and it's fused really good. What you can do now is run it through your printer, and I'll show you how to do that. Or some of the tutorials I saw, you take a glue stick and glue it to a piece of paper just for more rigidity and stability through your printer, but I'm just going to run it through just like this. Okay, I'm sitting at my computer. I ended up just using a glue stick to glue my FlexiFuse and, I don't know if you can see it very good, FlexiFuse and fabric to a piece of cardstock. I was having some problems with the edges curling, so I'm just going to go ahead and stick this in. I'll show you. I just have a little inkjet printer at my house. Put it right there in the printer. So when you are making these quilt tags, you are going to use, you can use WordPerfect, you can use any type of design software, but when you go to print, just make sure that you are watching your formatting, because FlexiFuse is only an 8 by 10.5 inch sheet. So I've created a sheet on my computer that is 8 by 10.5, and I'm going to print it on my inkjet printer. That is one other thing to make sure that you are very sure of, is that you are using an inkjet printer, or else your FlexiFuse could cause problems. Even though it is already fused to fabric and is backed by the paper, better safe than sorry. Another thing you might want to check is printing a test sheet on just a piece of plain paper, just so you know which side of the paper is going, or which side of your fabric versus paper is going to feed through your printer. I know that my printer just pulls it right through and will print right on top. Some printers flip it. I always print a test page just to make sure. Okay, I just sent it through my printer. I'm going to show you as it... Look at that! Okay. Look at how great that turned out. Perfect. Now, because it is an inkjet printer, this ink needs to dry or set. So what we're going to do is go back to the ironing board. I'm going to put a piece of parchment paper over this, and I'm going to use an iron to set it. This takes a little bit longer. I would say press for at least 20 to 25 seconds to set this ink. Let's go show you how to do it. Okay, like I said, we're going to press this to help set that ink. I use just some parchment paper over the top. This is to protect my iron. This way my iron doesn't get any ink on it. And you are going to press for 20 to 25 seconds. And I usually set a timer on my phone to make sure that I get it done. And this will be just the same as when we're fusing. You are going to use a hot iron, no steam, as hot as your iron will go. Okay, now that I've pressed it really good and let it set, I am going to let it cool to the touch. And then what you can do is, you can try to peel off the paper, but it's glued. So what you can do is trim out . Oh, it came away from the cardstock. And there you go. You have a quilt tag. And then when you're ready to use it, all you have to do is peel off the paper backing from the FlexiFuse, iron it on, and then stitch it down however you please. A couple pointers. I've learned this through trial and error. Make sure your font is thick enough. The first time I did this, I tried to do my name and the date in this really cutesy, thin cursive. And then I did some washing tests with some soap and just like hand agitating it, and it came right off. Same with this one. So I made the font really thick, the lines really thick. If you're worried about how it'll hold up, you can just do a quick hand wash in the sink, let it dry, and then I was able to still fuse it to something once the fusing had completely dried. So yeah, thicker font. Make sure your formatting is correct. If you're having some issues with the fusible and the fabric curling, just glue stick it to a piece of cardstock. And yeah, if you have any other questions, comments, leave them below and I will answer them.